break-ins and stuff, but it's nice being close to downtown, definitely.
That commercial area, it's a fun area.
Yeah.
I used to, there's
a really nice
one
area.
restaurant not too far off, actually it might be close to Second. Second, I can't remember what it was for breakfast, but it was like everybody's like writing on the wall and signatures, and people could like write stories on the wall and whatnot.
Are you thinking of Bonds?
Maybe. I
But
can't remember. My cousin
it's
used
not
to
on
live
Commercial,
right
but-
around 6th and Commercial. Yeah, I'm not too
It's on
sure.
Broadway? Is Broadway what you're...
Yeah, I couldn't. It was probably 7 years ago. But we used to just kind of go for walks in that area.
Yeah.
And the nightlife down there is kind of, it's like its own little district almost.
Yeah, commercials interesting. It's its own community,
Yeah.
definitely.
So whereabouts on Commercial?
I'm on Hastings and Commercial,
Oh,
so
right there.
right on the corner.
I had a
Yeah.
buddy who lived right in that area. I like it. It's short walk to lots of good coffee shops and
Yeah.
food, and I really like Commercial. There's a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, that's for sure.
What made you decide to move Vancouver? Just change? Just wanted to try it out?
Yeah, well, I'm going to school downtown right now, so it's 5 minutes away from school. But also just like just cause just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley's looking at she applied for a Vancouver posting for her job, and she's wanting to possibly move out there afterwards.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I would want to live. I mean, maybe Commercial area, but I think I'd like to be outside a bit, more like Burnaby area.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to go downtown, I don't know. I feel like I would spend a lot more money if I lived
Definitely
downtown,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
on entertainment. That is, because it's so easy. You don't have to worry about I got to be up early.
Yeah.
anymore. It's gonna take me 20 minutes to get to work tops.
It's definitely been expensive, but yeah.
So we share big brothers in common.
Yeah.
How's that going for you lately? Is it still
Yeah.
same match? Still
Yeah, it's going awesome. And actually we graduate, like our match graduates in March.
how? Because she's hitting a certain age.
Yeah.
Right. It's 18 or
It's 19.
19.
Yeah.
And then you can continue to see each other if you want.
Yeah, we will continue to see each other, but it's a weird new process because we're organizing this, like closing the match. So
Oh, okay.
With them.
So
So
what does that entail? What kind of what kind of stuff do you have to organize, or is there like a
I'm not-
ceremony or a speech or anything?
I think you do a little ceremony, but I'm not sure. I'm calling the caseworker on Monday, so
Okay.
we haven't sorted it out yet. But
Yeah, I'm still years away from
Will-
that with
Yeah.
my
Are you
match.
gonna get a new little sister?
I don't know. I don't know what happens next. It's,
Sorry, how long have you been involved with it for?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Yes, she was 16 when we started, so older than
You know, it's-
definitely older than Ryan.
Probably still a good age to have somebody.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a lot of people also. My mom used to work at the newspapers, and they do bowling events for big brothers and sisters. And something I always kind of looked at it was younger kids and whatever. But I mean, 16's a pretty serious age where you'd be looking for a positive influence in your life when you really start developing yourself and going through a ton. So that would be, I can understand that being a good spot probably.
16 is definitely a tough age.
Yeah.
But even I don't know, even until your early 20s, things are really confusing and weird.
They definitely.
They're
think-
still
I-
confusing.
Yeah.
So much changes over those years, and I feel like a lot of it is you coast. You know, it's hard to really absorb everything that's happening without just like living, and people can
Yeah.
change so much and go down a good path, down a bad path, change your direction, and like all the different little influences that can be so easily affecting the choices you're making, right? If you're not kind of standing ground to certain morals. And I know I went through that in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I made some questionable life choices, but it would yeah.
What are the kind of main factors that are weighing you to either get a new match, or maybe are you looking at maybe volunteering in another organization?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not sure yet. I would like to do another match, but then I feel like there's some sort of I'm it's
cheating
just-
on them.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like if there's some sort of you develop a relationship and
2.5 years is a long time.
and
right?
then
I mean,
you don't want to like step on that relationship. I don't know. I'm sure she wouldn't care at all. She'd probably be happy, but I'm not sure.
Would it be?
Feels weird.
Would
I
it
don't
be?
think it would be a problem.
Yeah.
Would there be ever something that you and her? So with Big Brothers and Sisters, then when she turns 19, that's kind of the finish of their program. Could you and her take on a little sister together?
Oh, I don't know.
Whether that would be complicated, just
I wonder what their policies are on that.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask Cheryl or.
It's probably different too, depending on where you were. But I mean, I don't know if you'd want to do something together because then one person kind of undermines the other
Fair
person, or maybe I don't know because that would be a unique experience. But I was gonna talk to her about maybe volunteering somewhere together, keeping that as a thing. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't worked it out yet, so we'll see.
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm still years away. Like, I mean, you think 2.5? That's nothing. There's one guy
Yeah.
that I met last year at the Christmas party. I think he's 70 something.
Aw.
And he's been with his match for like 10 years.
Yeah.
From the time the kid was 9 years old till 19. That the Christmas party was kind of like their last thing together.
That's so cute. He
That's
was 70?
nothing.
Aw.
Yeah. So I'll be at
Yeah.
I'd be 7 years by the time he hits 19.
Yeah. If you start with a young kid, right, and you stay with the match, you could be at over 10 years, definitely.
My computer has the wrong time on it, and it
Does
was
it?
starting to confuse me.
Here, let's get a picture.
I was like, is it 2:15?
There we go. Just gonna post something on Instagram. So have you gotten anybody else signed up? Have you recruited anybody else to the program since we last talked?
No, I haven't. I don't know if one friend I have that's really close to signing up, but I haven't gotten.
I think you
anyone to sign
mentioned
up.
before they
Yeah.
were. It's there's so many blocks that people have.
Also, people don't like being recruited to do things
Yeah,
too.
fair
They
enough.
kind of
Yeah, that's true.
Do things on their own volition. But have you gotten anyone to?
No, same thing. I just all of my closer. I mean, I mention it to lots of people, but all of my closer friends, they have their own kids, and to them,
Yeah.
it's like it's not even an option time wise.
Yeah.
Which I don't know because I'm not in their situation,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm just as busy as a lot of my friends, just with different stuff. But I make the time.
Yeah.
I include him in things that I like to do. So I think that's an easy way, like things you're already doing.
Yeah.
And we're at a point now where he doesn't care what we're doing. He just wants to hang out.
Yeah.
Right? It's so cool when you get texts from the foster parent that says like he really wants you to come. He really wants you to do this. He's looking forward. Like he might not say that, but that's a great, just like we were talking about.
Is it strictly with foster parents, kids
Nope.
that are fostered, or is it?
No.
No, it can be with single moms,
Yeah.
even families who say both parents work
Yeah.
and they just don't have time for their kids.
Yeah.
But the main the main policy they have is that the kid wants to do it.
Yeah. And also, if it's like the parents don't have time, there's some restrictions around that because like they make it specific that it's not babysitting. It's it has to be.
Or
there has to be like a reason.
or maybe
what
the
sort
parents
of-
one parent has a
Yeah.
disability or
Yeah.
something that prevents them from fully interacting with the kid the way most parents, like our parents were talking about.
Yeah, fair
Should
enough.
or
I
want
know
to.
you took your little brother to the hockey game there a couple weeks ago. Like, what kind of things do you guys kind of do frequently?
Oh, mine is older now, so we mostly just talk. Like we mostly just go for coffee and stuff. Now that she's ever since she turned 18, we've been.
Is she in school or working, or what kind of schedule does?
She has kind of her own schedule. Like she has a. How do I say? She just doesn't. She's not in school or working, but she has her own restrictions and stuff. But pretty open schedule, definitely.
Fair enough.
But yeah, normally we can always find time to work between the two. Since I've gone back to graduate school this year, and we've been seeing each other only twice a week since. But yeah, we are pretty casual about what we do.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
What are
cool.
you taking in school?
I'm doing a master's in comparative media, so it's kind of like art history and
Right, I remember you mentioning something about that.
yeah, like media studies.
Do you ever watch Drunk History?
No, I don't.
You should catch an episode of
Junk
that.
history.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Who is it? Who?
I can't even remember the name of the guy, but
There's a bunch of good ones, like Dan Carlin. Have you listened to him?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
That was
I
my New
hated
Year's
history in school,
resolution.
yeah.
Like to finish listening to all of his
Blueprint for Armageddon.
mhm. all of his
All of them?
Yeah. It was my New Year's resolution. It was kind of lofty, but
Well, they're
Yeah,
so
it's
long.
really-
That was those are podcasts.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, if
Sorry,
you're
what's it-
interested,
what's it called?
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. If you're interested at all, like I honestly, history was one of I didn't pay attention at all in school.
yeah.
He makes everything so relatable, so interesting.
Yeah, it's really engaging. That's
super engaging.
yeah.
The one that I would say start with is the one on World War One, which is called Blueprint for Armageddon. That's a good one. The one on the Mongol Empire is. Those are the two that I really enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Well,
So
definitely, I'll check those out. I'll get out
Yeah.
on my thing.
They're perfect for driving and stuff like that.
That's one when I listen to it in the car, I like out loud. I'm like, wow, it's so cool. It's so interesting.
But it's you hear the normal history stuff that you get in class, right? No, he takes it to a whole nother level. Like little
It's kind of what you
intricate
need to-
pieces
you
of
need to do,
information.
I think for
Yeah.
certain forms of information, like there's so many things nowadays that can distract your interest, or people get pretty focused on something that they're really passionate about, and if it's you're just pulling out a 400-page book and trying to get through it to learn, it's difficult. So something like that, like an engaging podcast, would be a good time, I bet.
So another one's Daniele Bolelli. He's another really good one. Look into him. He's started a new one called the. What the heck? I'll look it up. I can't remember exactly what it's called. He just started a new history podcast. Him and Dan Carlin have a lot of conversations and go back and forth. They're good friends. But same kind of thing. Very knowledgeable and goes at it from an angle that you normally would hear things taken from. And that's what makes them so interesting, right? So have you? So you mentioned that you were thinking about maybe possibly volunteering in another faction. Was there anything specific that you've looked at or not got that far yet?
We know somewhere you could spend some time
Yes.
volunteering.
We also
It's with the Gateway of Hope.
Gateway of Hope, Salvation Army, based in Langley. They need a lot of help. But
Oh, I'm sure Salvation Army.
Oh yeah, I have a donation for you guys.
wicked!
Oh, awesome! Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There, I'll just put it.
Yeah, just throw it in there. That's
Put
the
it-
pile. You
put
just
it in
started
there.
a new pile.
We'll grab your mom's money and throw it in there too, and just let her build. Ryan's telling me you're a yoga instructor. You're still doing that while you're going to school, or is it a little more difficult to?
Yeah, one night a week. One night a week. Yeah.
Did you used to do it full time?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah, I did it full time for at least 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
History on Fire.
Ah.
That's generally
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's on fire. So you work for Oxygen Yoga, or is the yoga form called? I've been like when I was playing baseball for the Cave Ducks, they basically rented out a yoga instructor and they'd take us in the gym, and it was more of I don't know what it was called, but it was like the strength building form of yoga.
Okay.
And then after I had back surgery,
Power yoga.
It might have been, yeah.
That was the first one I did.
It's tough. It's tough. It
Yeah.
is incredibly tough on your hip flexors and
Oh,
the
yeah.
core and everything. But after I had back surgery, I did Bikram for a month or two, and then it was so exhausting to me. Like, I really enjoyed it. I have nothing negative to say about it, but I was trying to also train and get strong, and
Yeah.
I'm such a big guy that I'd lose 10 pounds a session, and then I'd have to spend 4 hours rehydrating or whatever, and then try to get to the gym or go to work or whatever. So it was complicated for me, but I always loved doing yoga. It was definitely.
Oh, it makes you feel so
It does.
weak.
It's
So weak. Weak? Me?
Really?
It makes me feel super weak.
I don't know, man.
It's not,
I
and
always felt like it cleared my system.
No,
you
but
know?
I already
Like, it was-
knew that. Man, I leave there, you feel so relaxed,
Yeah.
just centered. But yeah, I not like I always knew going in that I'm super unflexible. And she's not. She's like, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. But I didn't realize how physically weak I was in certain areas, right? Core strength.
It's your stabilizing muscles.
Yeah.
Like, it's different than training.
Yeah.
It's so good for athletes, though, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, I don't know, I think when yoga first started, a lot of people had a very feminine connotation about it, but I think that's changed at
Which
times.
is weird because originally it's like it was only men that were allowed to do yoga.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's weird.
So is oxygen yoga a certain form?
I guess it
Lots
kind
of
of
different
it
forms.
kind of has its own styles, but it's just a brand.
Okay. Did you go to the yoga instructor training course that was down in the States there?
That's just for
No.
Bikram.
That just for
Yeah.
Bikram?
Yeah, with the
Okay.
creepy dude who.
So how do you get qualified to be a yoga instructor then?
Well, I did a training, but I did it here.
Okay.
Like just in Maple Ridge.
What did that entail?
What did that entail? Training?
No, I just mean like how long
do
was
they
it?
just
How many
teach
days a
you the
week,
poses
or-
and like how do they go about teaching you how to teach yoga?
Yeah, so it really depends where you go because there's so many different philosophies. But the one I did, so it always starts with a 200-hour training, so that's the initial training. And
200 hours, that's a
Yeah.
lot of hours of yoga. Because I mean, it's not like you're sitting and doing 9 straight hours of
Yeah.
yoga, right? It's kind of
yeah, I mean, to me it didn't feel that long because I already had a degree by that point, so it felt like such a little amount of time to actually spend getting into something.
Fair enough.
But it, yeah, 200 hours, but it's over like 6 months, right?
oh yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
And you learn mostly, the one I did, you learn mostly about the poses. So a lot of other places do a lot more on the philosophy behind yoga and kind of spirituality and stuff. But I did it through Oxygen, which is a very non-traditional company, and that's where I did my training. So
Fair enough. It's cool. How many people do you guys usually get out to your classes?
like between 20 and 30.
You guys have a pretty big.
Depends when you go.
Yeah,
like
depends
I've been
when
to
you go.
classes. You go to a beginner class sometimes. There's like 5 or 6 of
Yeah.
us in there.
Yeah.
You go with like prime time to like the ones that they like. You're crammed in there.
Yeah.
I
It-
liked the 5 people one, so I didn't
Yeah,
embarrass myself too
it's
badly.
also it's so much better to just have a smaller group of people. You can actually pay attention to what people are doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not teaching in Abbotsford anymore just because it's so far away. But in Coquitlam, all the classes are packed. But it's also that time of year, right, where people are
Mhm.
kind of making resolutions and falling off of them now. But
What do they usually say for that? It's about a 40-day stretch where
it's right after Valentine's
38,
Day.
40, yeah. It's just that dark time in life, hey? Everybody's New Year's resolutions die off. What did they call the Tuesday before Valentine's? I think they called it like Bloody Tuesday, and it's the highest breakup rate of any other day of the year, the Tuesday before
no.
Valentine's Day.
I've never heard that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always a weekend before
Yeah.
they have a nightmare, and then
Yeah.
it is apparently a massive percentage of breakups. So we've survived. We've survived the New Year's resolutions and breakups so far.
So yeah, so far one more day. Well, one more day.
Yeah, see how it goes.
We're doing. You're gone for 12 hours today. Who knows when you get home?
Fair enough.
Well,
So they don't really teach you then as how to put your programs together. That'd be done by whoever you're working for then.
oh, they teach you a bit sequencing, like
Yeah.
what would logically make sense, like flow together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of have to do it depending on who's coming to the class or where
That's why
it
you always
is.
would ask when I was. You'd always
Yeah.
ask, "What is there? Does anybody have soreness anywhere? Anyone want to work on
Yeah.
anything?" Which is always nice. Like, and I was like,
So
back,
technically
always back.
could be different
Yeah.
every class kind of thing, just
Yeah.
based on who was there.
Yeah, Bikram is always the same though, right? Like
Yeah.
Bikram's always the same. Actually, it's
I'd
not.
lay on the floor for about 40 minutes trying to breathe, get
Bikram
up, do a
was no
stretch,
floor
and then
work, though.
lay back.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
Bikram's
Isn't
lots of
Bikram all standing?
Thanks, Ryan, but they encourage you to just lay down
Oh,
and
I
stay in the
gotcha.
room if you can't do it.
You make your own floor work, I
Yeah,
guess.
I make my own floor work.
Is Bikram still? I don't think Bikram exists anymore.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Is it?
Does
Yeah,
it?
my friend just bought one
Oh.
in Abbotsford.
Wow.
Why would it not exist anymore?
Because there was that scandal.
The guy
with
who
Bikram.
started it is like being charged with a
With-
whole bunch of. He's basically being a creep, like
Yeah.
sleeping with all his students, kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah,
The
Which-
guy out in
the guy in Vegas, this guy who
Like
started
Bikram.
Bikram.
that's crazy.
Because all Bikram did was he took poses and made his own
Yeah.
sequence
with 125-degree heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also hot yoga.
No, I just
Oh.
mean
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, come on. The guy, I don't know. So the guy slept with some. Like, I don't know. I don't see it as like something he needs to go to jail for, unless he's like actual. I don't know. I don't know everything
Yeah,
about
I
it.
don't
I haven't
know
heard
if
anything
there was
about the story.
anything-
I think
know.
it was more. I think it was more he
I want to look it up.
kind of abused the power. Like he
Okay,
kind
well
of
then in that case,
convinced them that like they would succeed if he. Like it was that kind
succeeded,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in yoga too, like you're not really supposed. There's supposed to be some like respect that you have with
Yep.
the teacher. I don't know. He kind of crossed a lot of lines, but I actually don't know very
lot
much
about
about it
it,
at all. Yeah. Just the gossip, really. Just that it happened.
There's definitely a lot of different. Like I think as 4 or 5 different teachers that I had while I was going. There's definitely good and bad when it comes to like I was saying, like the ones who really focus on like the students and what they need. What annoyed me was when it seemed like the teacher was focusing on their own yoga poses instead of walking around and making sure everybody else was doing their poses correctly, because that's their job.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't want to say anything, right? Because I think I know exactly actually who you're talking
Well,
about.
there's a
Yeah.
couple, to be honest. There was a couple.
But it's also sometimes that's the way you're encouraged to teach.
Oh, okay.
Like especially at Oxygen, because Oxygen's very much about fitness. So I remember having many conversations with the owners, and they were always like, yeah, do that, because even if people can't do it, then they see you do it and they're so impressed, and that inspires them to do it. So it's like,
But it also, if they're good, it also can make some of the students be like,
yeah,
I can't do
I know,
that.
discouraged, right? Yeah, there's different ideas about the way you should teach, but I tend to agree with you. But I don't know. What can I say? I don't.
So how often are you teaching now?
1 day a week.
Yeah, one night.
Just one.
Yeah.
And other than that, you're doing.
Keep up,
Are
Ryan.
you still doing? Sorry.
I'm just fucking.
Are you still doing like the administrative work as well?
No, I'm
That's it?
free. I'm free of that. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm working at the university. Like I'm a teaching assistant at
Okay.
school, but just trying to focus on getting good grades.
What classes are you assisting in? Like, or what is it?
Oh, I'm TAing a film history class.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That does sound interesting though. So what would a typical class entail? Like, you'd pick a film and dissect it, or like how?
Yeah, so the prof will pick a film and he'll go over like film making techniques around it.
Okay.
And then I have to do tutorials on it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun. It's
What was one recently you did that you found really interesting? Something you learned from one of these films that you broke down?
Well, we are talking a lot in class right now about classical film narratives. So the way Hollywood typically organizes a story, so it's supposed to be very easy for the audience to digest
And follow along.
yeah. But then there's all these like interventions by other filmmakers, because there's this huge have you ever watched Manufacturing Consent?
I've heard. It sounds
I've
familiar.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've
believe
seen it.
I mean, there's this huge other school of thought that doesn't like these ideologies kind of being forced on audience. So there's some skepticism in the way these narratives are projected. So I don't know. It's interesting because I'm going over all this all the way that like film and media coerce the audience into certain perspective. It's really interesting and really terrifying.
It is terrifying, and I mean,
what was one of the things you've seen, like a specific terrifying coercion that you've come across?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to get into it, but it's not even just that. So like with thinking about with social media and that the way that they track all your information, so all your likes and whatever, and even like Google will track if you're asking like how early can you get an abortion or whatever, and then it'll market it to that.
It's brutal when I Google something on my phone and then I open Facebook and there's an ad for something I just did. Like I just got my guitar fixed, and it's unplugged back in, the strings taken off. So I'd made a phone call to Long and McQuaid. I didn't search it. Yeah. I phoned them. Yeah. And then when I opened Facebook, there was a Long and McQuaid. They keep track, and other people have said that to me. They've Googled trips, and then they open Facebook, and it's having an advertisement of a company going to the place they just Googled. It's like, you wonder how much stuff of your information is going through that. I mean, if they can look at something on Google, why can't they see you type in your bank information on an app?
Yeah. Well, it's also, too, they just kind of play on your weaknesses. So they track the things that you feel, like all your vulnerabilities, and kind of market to those vulnerabilities. So I've stopped using Google, actually. Like, since going back to school and really thinking about media, I've switched to DuckDuckGo. They don't track you.
DuckDuckGo?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm actually going to look into the Google stuff.
Yeah, it's gross when you think about it, but how can you stop it? Like, there's not really, other than going to DuckDuckGo.
I'm sure they track you in more ways than you know also, but
it's just like going to, like, anytime you want to sign up for or buy something online or whatever, they need all your information. And they will not allow you to continue until you've given them everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross.
It's stressful.
Do you, oh, sorry, I had a question here and now I just lost it. There we go. So how long have you been teaching yoga now?
3 years, maybe.
So you would have just kind of started when you would have been maybe a year in when I started there.
Okay, let me think. So what year is it now?
2016.
2016. Okay.
I better get back on Google, hey?
Yeah, no. So I guess I did my training in 2012, so it'll be
4 years.
4 years. Started teaching in February of 2013, so it'll be 3 years.
3 years of teaching.
Like this month. And so when did you start coming?
2014.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically all through summer of 2014 was when I was coming quite often.
Coming frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
What made you interested in starting to go?
I needed to get better. I continually get injured, and I think a lot of that has to do with my flexibility. Mm-hmm. So I didn't work out basically all summer. I just did yoga, did the odd workout or something, but it's just tough to fit all of these different types in. And yoga's expensive, man.
It is, yeah.
Unfortunately. So I do it myself here sometimes. I have a little DVD.
Does Oxygen have like a monthly membership? Or?
Yeah, it's fairly expensive, but actually, like, I've been going spinning lately, and I always thought yoga was expensive, like the most expensive fitness, but spinning is $180 a month.
To spin?
For spinning.
That's why, you know...
Can't you just go for a bike ride?
I did it you can do like an intro month, and then after that I was like, I have to just
I like the gyms that have a lot of classes to offer. When I used to go to Good Life in Edmonton, they have 15 different classes.
Good Life has a lot. Good Life even has hot yoga.
They do.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, their classes are awesome.
I think that's the same thing with what's the one? There's Club 16, and then there's
Steve Nash.
Oh, yes,
Steve Nash, the Fitness World one. I think that's the same. That's why those are so big, because of those classes.
Yeah.
I got almost everything I need at my parents' place in their barn. We have like basically a full workout thing.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
in the universal gym, pull-up bar, squat rack, bench press rack kind of thing, benches, free weight dumbbells, kettlebell. Like, I think for a lot of people, it has a lot to do with they can't motivate themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's why I like spinning. Is because
yeah.
if I do cardio on my own, I'm like, it's fine.
It's
Yeah.
definitely
It's
like
true.
when I went to when I was doing this course, I can't remember what it was called. It was basically a full body workout every time you went, and it's an hour of free personal training in my mind, and that's how I looked at it. And I love just being told what to do, trying to keep upping your weights, keeping it in, and going, right? I mean, I can go to the gym and try to lift weights for an hour and lose a lot of motivation after 15 minutes. You get distracted on texting, someone calling, someone needing something. You think about something you did, but on those sorts of courses, you just kind of put everything down and you commit to it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Apparently our audio's messing up again.
Oh, are we getting feedback?
It's clicking.
Who's giving you that info?
Actually listening, so.
How many live listeners do we have on there?
17 right now.
17?
Yeah.
Dionne, you're tied for...
Tied for first place?
Number
so far
one.
Today.
Nice.
Yeah. You spread the word or what? You
Sure.
hey, tune in.
If anybody of the live listeners there have any questions or anything, feel free to leave a comment or
send some questions in on the Facebook page.
Message for us.
Under the comments. Not that we... So... What would you, if someone was to ask you, so say you have someone on the fence, they're thinking about going to yoga, say myself, for example, like I'm so inflexible, but I don't know, I just don't know if yoga's for me. What would be like your 3 benefits, 3 things you would like, points that you would try to hammer home?
Or not
like,
even 3,
not
but
even 3, just like what would be kind of your...
What connects you to it so strongly?
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay, I'm really bad at selling things, so...
Not about selling, it's just about conveying the benefits.
I mean, it's really good.
Damn it.
Is it so weird, the sound?
Apparently, yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's no headphones.
Is my phone on this side maybe affected? Because remember, that's what it was doing yesterday.
This stuff. Anyway, sorry. Continue. I'll continue to work at it.
So most people have constant pain. Like most people are always having headaches, and it's really common. Everyone that comes in always is coming in for a reason. And so actually consistently practicing strengthening your core especially is really beneficial in mitigating that type of pain, like headaches and it just really helps your posture. And so that's one thing. Breathing, that's one thing that's really important with yoga and really beneficial with it.
Super relaxing to life in general, to just, and even sorry, I'll let you finish and then I'll carry back what I was going to say. I don't want to keep interrupting you.
No, I think, though, for me, that was the biggest thing that made me really want to stay with yoga was that, well, it's not, actually, that's not true, but one of the biggest benefits I've noticed is practicing your breathing while you're doing something that's challenging, like a tough yoga pose.
Sorry. That could be it, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, breathing. But what were you going to say?
Breathing as an exercise, like when I had back surgery and I had to go to an OC2 clinic and then a pain management clinic. And, we'd start our mornings out and you'd spend 6 to 8 hours there just doing fitness training, functional strength training. And they'd always sit you down and breathe, lay down, breathe. And it just kind of centers you to be able to do those things. Because, I mean, going through injuries like that and being off and trying to train and figure out what you're going to do next, and being told you're not allowed to work and play baseball and hockey as an athletic person who likes to work, it's not easy. And like I don't think a lot of people really take the time to do. And even Ryan and I talk a lot about meditation, and he was talking a lot about floating, and just getting your breathing down is so healthy for your body that That was the point I was trying to make. But
Have you done floating? I know we've talked
Yeah.
about it before.
Yeah, so I think I've done it 4 times now.
You've done it 4, so you actually found it beneficial.
I like it. I like it a lot, but I
you-
hate it at the same time too.
did you have a hard time the first time?
Yeah, so I don't like small spaces. Definitely hate them. But the first time actually was fine. The first time I found it really relaxing. But I was in like an open tank,
Okay.
so it didn't have the lid.
Oh, you did the
Did
open
you-
one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you do for sound in there?
There, it's still quiet.
Yeah.
Still
it's so
quiet. Lights
quiet.
off.
Lights off. There's no.
It's off. It's lights are off, but it's different because you know with the closed tank it's so dark. With the open tank, it's definitely a little bit more light pollution, I guess, from the other rooms.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
It'd be hard laying in a. Have you ever had an MRI?
no.
You've had a couple, eh?
MRIs look so
I've had
scary.
one.
It's
MRI
tough going
so
in.
far.
Yeah.
I'd always have to go in backwards just because of the way you're when getting like the back scans, and it was just I don't know, just trying to lay still like that. I guess part of the noise too would be tough, but I got my girlfriend a float for Christmas, and she liked it, but wasn't too thrilled on potentially going again. She
Yeah.
hurt her neck a little and just
Because you
I
have
don't-
to
I
put
don't-
your arms up.
yeah, I don't think she had
They don't
a
explain
perfect
that.
relaxation time doing
Yeah.
it. So it'd be
Yeah.
I still want to go and try it though. I still need to get out there and do one.
There's different, like, I went one time with my boyfriend, and he hated it. Like,
Yeah.
he hated it. I could hear him in the room, because there was only 2 rooms, and I could hear him, like, getting out, getting back in, like, getting out. Like, he did not like it at all. But I kind of hate it, too, but when I hate something, I feel like I need to make myself do it
Yeah,
more. So.
I completely. So what were the things about it that you loved? What keeps you doing it? What were the benefits that you found?
I like the salt. Like, I find you feel so good after.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So smooth.
And it's
The
so...
Epsom salts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When we were young and like played football and stuff, I'd have a bath in Epsom salts all the time. You feel like $1 million after, but I understand it's a little denser than what I would have made
Yeah.
a bath out of
Yeah.
as a child, right?
Yeah, you'd need like a bag. You'd need like
It's
ton.
1,000. It's
Yeah.
upwards of 1,000 pounds depending on the tank,
Yeah, it's
It's
really,
wild.
or even more. I think for some.
Yeah.
Do they flush it out every use?
No.
Oh, really?
No, they have a circulation.
So you're laying in someone
System.
else's
Yes
salt,
and no. I
salt
mean,
bed?
I think the
no, it's
salt.
sanitary. It's filtered.
Yeah, they
Oh, okay.
filter
Yeah,
it.
it's filtered.
But I think the
And
salt is like a cleaning agent or something. I'm not
that
sure.
would it makes sense.
It
I
not a cleaning
think.
agent, but I think it has something about it. I don't know.
Disinfectant properties.
Yeah, some like snake oil. Like
Sure,
that,
let's go with
but
that.
Yeah.
Disinfectant properties.
Yeah.
I personally found it as what I like about it is like the meditation part of
Yeah.
it, and specifically the tackling the issues that you don't want to tackle in your head,
Yeah.
because it brings them to the forefront.
It definitely forces you to. I didn't find the first couple times that
No.
I did it, but the last time I went, it was just a nightmare. Like, it was like actually, I couldn't tell if I was awake or not, but I was actually like having a nightmare. So I have 2 more. I'm gonna go back and sort it out.
I got
But
one that I still got to use, but I find that I find it's, and I think that's what scares a lot of people about it too.
Yeah.
Is the first time they do it is that I don't even know if people realize it the first time, that the reason they don't want to do it again is because they have all of these thoughts coming into their head because they got no sound, no other inputs other than what their head, what their mind or their body wants them to think about.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that's the stuff that you continually push right deep down because you don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it's weird because you can just stay with your breath. Like, you can kind of let those other thoughts go if you're just thinking about how you're breathing. But in the float tank, like, you kind of dream and stuff. It's like you think you can control what you're doing, but you kind of can't. It's kind of scary. But it's definitely good.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna go see what it's sounding like.
Yeah, I don't know what it's about. It's a clicking. I've heard it before, but I mean, it could be multiple things doing it. So sorry to everybody who's listening or trying to figure out these technical difficulties.